Welcome back. Please take your seats, everyone, so we can continue with our next part of the program. I hope you're all feeling refreshed. I know I am. And I'm excited for our next part, the heroes. This is where the nominated CIOs will do their 180-second pitch, their moment to shine. And that's not all. After these pitches, the CIOs will team up with their board member for a 360 seconds validation Q&A as well. I won't keep you waiting any longer. Let me introduce our 4 nominees. Ladies first. Mel Jacobs, CIO at ABN AMRO Bank NV. Yes, you can. André van der Linden, CIO at Royal Flora Holland. Mark Vermeer, CIO of the City of Rotterdam. And last but not least, Willem Koopmans, Head of Tech at Coolblue. And of course, a special welcome, and give him a big applause because he didn't get any applause last year. Mr. Marcel Krom, CIO of PostNL and the CIO Award winner of 2020. Marcel, the nominees are yours.
Thank you, Hiske. It's with great pleasure that I'm here. It feels a little bit strange, and I've practiced a lot about the next sentence. I got my award in 2020. I also had it in 2021, and I had to transfer it in 2022 to give it to the CIO of 2021. I think that went okay. So we have 4 great nominees today, and it feels great to be with you on this stage and to transfer the CIO of the Year award to one of you. But first of all, I guess you must be a little bit nervous, but we will not talk about the nervousness, but about the award process. So let's start with you. Willem, what did you think about, what was your highlight of the award process?
The highlight of the award process. First of all, I think probably many of you are not aware of it, but it's a very decent process. So it was really nice to get a lot of questions about what you do, how you work, and then even get at a certain moment to the moment that we could jointly together discuss it. Because you can learn so much from other companies. So my highlight was absolutely the jury session when I learned all about the other nominees and what they have done and learned.
Okay, cross references. Mark.
Well, for me, it's the process that led to the nomination. Perhaps not everybody knows that nominations are based on assessments, not so much of our personal performance, but of the performance of our organizations. There's an assessment of the digital maturity of the organization, and being from local government, I think the whole of the municipality was rather proud of the fact that we were assessed as a sector leader. So that's my highlight.
Okay, thank you. Mel.
Yeah, well, it's hard work, eh? So you think you get it for free? You don't. But I really enjoyed the jury meeting and meeting these guys, and especially the stories told where you can see that you can be really proud of what we're doing in the Netherlands on all digital aspects. So the pride that filled me when hearing you guys, I loved it.
At last, André.
It's getting a bit boring, but it's a very thorough process. But what I really liked is the day that was already mentioned, the camaraderie I felt amongst us. Yes, we are competitors, but I felt camaraderie that day when we discussed where we went through. So that's really the highlight for me of this entire process.
Okay, thank you all. I really think indeed that the process is one of the biggest things you get from the experience, but I also know that to make a choice who the winner will be is also very difficult, but that is also a very thorough process. How will it work from now on? Each nominee will have 180 seconds on the stage to present its story, so you will all know why the nominee is the nominee. And after that, we will have a validation check with one of the board members of the companies of our nominees. And there we have exactly 6 minutes, so 360 seconds for that. So I'm very curious about the insights, of course. And later this evening, during the CIO VIP dinner, then the chairman of the jury, Bernard van Oranje, will announce this year's winner. So let's start, and let's start with Willem. Willem, please take the stage.
Thank you very much. And we go. Yeah, thank you very much for having me here. I will tell you in 3 minutes' time a little bit about what Coolblue does and how it works with tech within Coolblue. And in essential, Coolblue is a very simple company. We only have 2 targets, 2 goals where the whole company works on, and that is NPS and EBITDA. We all measure that, and that's the only thing which counts. And how does it work? Well, it works in small steps, because as a tech company, we're supporting there, and we make steps a bit better every day. And all together, we work on that. So we have 4 core values within Coolblue, which also apply to tech, and I will elaborate a little bit on how that works in practice. So first of all, this is our model, and this is the core value, friends. And the first core value is friends, and that means that we work as tech and business shoulder to shoulder. There's no tech team and a business team. We have only one team. Really, I have 50 different development teams who all work in a business domain, and they work together. And how does that work? Well, you have the roadmap of buying a television. Size does matter. And if you buy a television, there might be a difference in how you feel about the size. So what we do is we find out that augmented reality could help to discuss at home how the television looks at your wall. Well, that's a way of technology implementing in the business process shoulder to shoulder. So if you go further, the other component is unconventional. We don't do the things like other people and companies do. An example is that we do a lot of A/B split testing. We want to know what customers think about how we work. And one way is to do A/B split testing online. But we found out the tool we had was not sufficient for the needs we had. So what we did, we just made ourselves one. And it led to lower latency, and with all the developers, we can now do 40 to 50 A/B split tests all day, on every price, on every level, in the app, on mobile, to debate. Well, the third element is go for it. We truly believe that you should make small steps every day. Small steps, MVP, focused on the real essence of what you want to make, and then try and experiment. It might not be the shortest way to success, but it is the most effective way, because you get the feedback out of the people you love the most, and those are your customers. Well, and that already brings us to the 4th element. Here it is. And that's flexible. In essence, Coolblue is about flexibility, because if you get all that feedback, you need to adapt to every new insight you get. And that leads to a way of working that we can implement 250 software changes on a daily basis. And we do it every day, even on Black Friday. And then the big question is, how does that work? Well, that's very easy. Our teams are in the lead of it. If they decide this is the moment to change something, they should do it. And if it fails, they have learned something. Revert it, because fail is the first attempt in learning. Well, I hope this helped a little bit. And it shows why tech is a people's business. So actually, this award is not so much about me or the CIO of Coolblue. It's about all those software developers who work every day for our organization, who make the best things, and therefore we even give them a code museum. And these are all their names. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Willem. Right back to you, Marcel, for the validation Q&A with Coolblue's CFO, Mrs. Daphne Smit. So let's get the VC live.
We'll wait for the connection with Daphne. There is Daphne. Hi. Good afternoon, Daphne.
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, very well, very well. Thank you for your time already. We have just heard the great speech of Willem, exactly on time, so that's already his first achievement of today. But Daphne, can you please tell us a little bit more about the dynamics which are around Coolblue at this moment?
Sure. Well, hopefully you guys have all seen it already, but we've entered the German market and also the energy market. Well, interesting markets in itself, but also in interesting times, I would say. And what we see in Germany is that, well, customers love what we do there. However, we also see that the German customer doesn't really know Coolblue yet. In the Netherlands, we're a well-known, loved brand, I would say. So besides tweaking all the processes to local needs, we also need to focus on building our brand recognition. And looking at the energy market, for example, well, it's a new market for us, but luckily we acquired a software and fully licensed energy company with which we together can build an integrated leading customer journey that really helps everyone and all our customers to decrease their energy consumption. And that's not only cheap, but it's also really, really green. So that's the dynamics within Coopblue at the moment.
Wow, that is very interesting. Not only new markets in the geographical centers, but also in really new markets. So if you think about the purpose you have within Coopblue about everything for a smile and every day a little bit better, if you translate that into the tech strategy, what are the things which come into mind to you which are important towards that one?
Well, I think Willem said it really nicely. In the end, it's all about the customer. And at Coopblue, we believe that great companies can be built based on two metrics: NPS, so customer satisfaction, and EBITDA. And although these metrics feel quite contradicting at first, we see that they can actually reinforce each other. And we believe that's actually the only way that the obsessive focus on customer satisfaction will structurally create value for the company. And that's not only the company strategy, but it's also there with tech strategy, because it's essentially one. As Willem said, I like your words, Willem, we will work shoulder to shoulder. And tech-specific components are focused on ensuring that we have a flexible and scalable organization by which we, for example, can expand to Germany or into adjacent markets. And that's all about flexible, scalable platforms, solutions, and thereby a little bit better every single day. Both supported by business, but also by tech.
I think flexible and scalable are terms which are very resonating here in this audience, as here are a lot of big companies who are striving for that one. So can I also assume that you experience your IT environment as flexible and scalable?
Definitely, definitely. And probably like the words agile, scrum, like have also been used quite a lot over the past hours and also upcoming hours. So yeah, definitely that's something that we see. And I think Willem already gave the example of reverting and so on. And something I'm really, really proud on is that we deploy like continuously, for example. Like when I started at Coopblue, we didn't do deployments over Black Friday, for example, because that would be scary. Maybe something would go wrong. And nowadays, well, probably while we're talking, we're deploying again and again and again. And that makes us really flexible, scalable, and we learn like extremely fast.
Yeah, very interesting. Thank you. So let's talk about Willem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it is not gossip because Willem is here, but I think you know. But what is the greatest achievement of Willem in that perspective within Coopblue?
Well, I think Willem, can you close your ears, Willem? No, Willem is great in terms of setting all the tech teams up for success. So he makes sure that they build all the products that are needed to make our customers smile. And he does that by safeguarding the principles and way of working, which also means sometimes saying no or telling them what to do or what not to do. He's hiring the best talents from all over the world, and not only looking at the techie, him or herself, but also at the partner or child of those developers. He's keeping them happy and engaged without raising, well, I would say, spoiled developer princes and princesses. And well, by doing this, he's definitely contributing to a scalable and flexible organization and code base. So all in all, I think every organization deserves a Willem.
So Willem, that's your review of 2022 already. So if you think about, of course, now he's nominee for CIO of the Year 2021.
Yep.
But why would Willem why should he have to win?
I think it's because everything I said before, and I think Willem is really, really great in seeing, hearing, giving the personal touch to all the developers, also being the bridge between the business and the tech community within Coopblue. But he can also say no with a big smile, and then also explain that in a proper way, and that people like know and feel what they're working towards. And I think that's definitely something really, really special, and that I really respect. And that's what I also hear from all the developers. Although he's probably not the best code writer himself, which is like really, really important for a lot of techies.
Okay.
He is really also well known for what he's doing for them.
Okay, I see a very big Willem next to me. Thank you very much, Daphne, for your time. For now, we will know tonight what will the outcome will be, and all the best with Coolblue with all your great achievements. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Enjoy. And
Thank
Willem.
Okay, that brings us towards the second nominee. Mark, you can get ready, because it's your time for the stage.
Yes.
I was born and raised in Rotterdam, on the South Bank even. Especially in the 70s, children in Rotterdam were told to be proud of this city, which had been rebuilt after the war and which had recently overtaken New York as the largest port in the world. As I grew up, I became convinced that I wanted to use my skills and talent to contribute to society. So when at the start of this century, I got the opportunity to join the city of Rotterdam as an IT professional, I did not hesitate. You may know your local government for the occasional parking tickets, the proverbial passports, of course, waste collection. But did you know a city is also into civil engineering, into social security, into event management? And in the case of Rotterdam, we're talking events like the Eurovision Song Contest or le Grand Départ du Tour de France. If not, since 2020, you are certainly aware that we do something called public health. You can imagine that this poses great challenges to a single IT department having to support all of these areas. But from the moment I was appointed as a CIO, I have stressed that these areas also have something in common. They generate data about our city. It is this data that we have used to provide insights into the effect of the COVID epidemic on our city. And it is this data that we want to share with the city using our open urban data platform we're working on, which fuels our digital twin, a live 3D model of our city. I was delighted to be nominated to be CIO of the Year. I see it as a recognition for the hard work in local government to deal with urban challenges. And I hope it generates interest in working for local governments, especially for this great city. See you soon in Rotterdam. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Right back to you, Marcel.
Wow, Mark, impressive, I must say. And what, of course, you do not know in the audience is that 4 minutes before Mark was going on stage, we had to tell him that his movie was not well embedded into the presentation. And 1 minute before the presentation, we could tell Mark that it worked because of the help of all the technical people behind stage. And he delivered his speech as well as ever. Great, Mark. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
And the second thing, Mark, is that your colleague, Arjan, is not here. And maybe you can tell us a little bit why that is.
Yes, well, that's working in a political context for you. Arjan is not really my colleague. He's an alderman. He's elected, and I'm not. So it also means that he's on the way out, and I'm not, I hope. But in a political context, things pop up. This time it had something to do with a stadium, I think, that is being built or not. And that's why he can't be here, which is unfortunate.
That's really unfortunate. But maybe you can tell a little bit about how does the dynamics of such a big city translates into the tech strategy? What are the most important stuff that you need to think about when you translate that stuff into tech?
Well, first of all, as I also stressed in my pitch, a city is really not one, not two, but perhaps 16 or 17 companies with over a dozen of product lines, and all of these systems have to somehow fit into an information household, and that's really the big challenge local government is about, I think.
Yeah.
At the same time, we want to interact with the city. We want to do this in a modern way. We want to use data. We're working on stuff like digital twin I was talking about, and which probably was visible in the video as well. So it's like playing chess on a multitude of boards, and that's a large part of my job.
Thanks for that. And of course, it's difficult to tell it about yourself, but I have a little bit of a surprise for the other nominees later on. So what do you think is your biggest contribution towards the city of Rotterdam?
My biggest contribution, I think, is opening up our information household to share with the city, to use it for their benefit. And I think this will provide a foundation for the further digitization, not so much of the municipality itself, but for the city as a whole.
Great. And I will give a question towards the other nominees, because they have seen you, of course, during the process. So Willem, if you have to choose one word which defines Mark at the best, what kind of word would that be?
Mic's not on. My mic's on. Good question.
Let me help you. My formal first name is Willem.
Yeah. No, but I was really, like, on the jury day, you really impressed me with the story of how you really bring a city further with all that technology. And the passion you have for it, I think the passion you also just expressed about the fact you grew up in Rotterdam. So I'm thinking of, is it you're a true Rotterdammer, which as a Coolblue I absolutely like, or is it your passion for the public space, which is both really impressive?
Thank you.
Was a long word.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's my problem.
Great, Willem, great, Willem. Mel.
I have one word. Visionary.
Thank you.
Visionary. André.
One word, pride.
Pride. Wow, Mark. Well, I think that more or less gives a little bit of compensation for the fact that you were on yourself today, but you did a great. Thanks a lot for your presentation, and good luck tonight. Are you ready, Mel?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Hey, jump.
My first day as a CIO was not at all what I expected it to be. In a tower high above the Zuidas, with the sun coming up over Amsterdam, sitting next to Kees van Dijkhuizen, CEO at the moment, and across from us, the Dutch public prosecutor, reading out a criminal charge stating ABN AMRO was suspect in anti-money laundering. You all know that moment when the shit hits the fan. Your adrenaline goes up, your heartbeat goes down, you walk out the room and know exactly who to call. With them, I descended to the dungeons of the building we know as the data center. To come out 5 days later, hand over 6.8 terabyte of data to the Dutch IRS. That evening I came home. My son was already asleep. I bent over him to kiss him goodnight, and he woke up. And he asked me, "Mommy, where were you?" And I said, "Helping to catch some crooks." While his eyes filled with pride, mine filled with tears. I'm telling you this story to help you understand what a complex environment banking has become. We are working in a highly regulated environment. We are the law enforcer and the accused at the same time. Our earning model is under pressure in a negative interest environment, and the fintech competition is fierce. I'm also telling you this story to illustrate that the role of the CIO has changed. We no longer sit in the dungeons of the data center. We sit at the boardroom table. Even the Dutch prosecutor knew that when they invited me that day. How do we create the need for speed? That is by working with a common vision, hand in hand with the business. How do I create the speed that is needed? In 2017, we couldn't even use the word public cloud when we walked through the hallways of the Gustav Mahler. We are now migrating our full on-prem workload, except mainframe, Jan, to the public cloud. In 2017, we were setting our first steps in Agile. We are now transforming 400 teams to full DevOps, while keeping the shop open and delivering services like digital banking and video banking to bring our customers online. I'm also telling you this story to illustrate what how important it is that we have a diverse workforce. Because problems are complex and dilemmas are big, and you can only come to a solution when all pieces of the puzzle are represented. And I know you all want to hire that diverse talent that is out there, and that it is difficult, and they're not there. And that's why I offer my experience and my support to all of you to help you find that diverse talent and build teams that are building the future and show that IT is a way to make the world a better place. And thank you for the extra seconds.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mel. Right back to you, Marcel, for the validation Q&A with ABN AMRO's member executive board, Mrs. Choi van der Hoofd. Let's get the VC live.
Hi, Choi. Good afternoon. The connection is almost very well. We cannot hear you yet.
Good afternoon. Good to see you.
Now it's great. Thanks. Welcome. We just heard the great story of Mel about all the dynamics within the ABN AMRO. Was of course more or less around tech and IT, but also about the business. Can you elaborate a little bit about the big dynamics which are revolving around ABN AMRO?
Yeah, actually at this moment we are in the midst of the implementation of our renewed strategy, which is to become a personal bank in a digital age. And here IT and IT transformation plays a key role, and maybe it's even at the heart of the transformation we are in at this moment. To become personal, we also want to come closer to our clients. And by doing so, we can use all the functionalities IT is providing us today in order to become this personal bank. On the other hand, we also know that change is a constant factor nowadays, and that we as a financial service institute also need to respond to that. And one of the things, for instance, is that we need to make sure that whatever we do is at the heart of our society, and that we make sure that the business going forward, that we implement that and improve it in a more sustainable way than we do it today. And also here, IT is playing actually an important role for all of us, and helps us to actually make sure that the data and combined with the expertise is taken out of all our systems in order to help our employees, to support our clients, and to become more personal towards our clients.
Have you also seen in the last few years that IT is taking a more proactive part in that customer experience area within ABN AMRO?
Definitely. Yeah. Mel is an integral part of our whole client unit. Yeah? So it's not only about sales and products, but it's about sales, products, and IT. She has a crucial role in our teams, not only within my wealth management space, but also in corporate banking and in retail banking. So it's all over. And actually, we all know that for us to be successful, we need to collaborate with each other. And that's where IT, but also where Mel brings the difference to the table. She is able to create a common ground and make sure that we have an equal level playing field with each other. And she has a very good sense for business to understand, okay, what's the business value and what do we need to do? And what's then the role of IT to play in this context?
And do you see then indeed that bridging part of connecting all those dots together, is that the most important role for Mel, or do you also see other characteristics which makes her very special within your organization?
Yeah, I think what makes Mel very special is, on one hand, her enthusiasm is contagious, but not only that, she brings it with a lot of knowledge. This is a true motivator towards her team, but also because she has this radar to translate client needs actually and employee needs into business value. She's very much capable in connecting with all the stakeholders, whether it's internal or external, to get things done. And that's what, in the end, salespeople want to get things done, and they want to have a seamless employee experience, but also make sure that their clients have a seamless client experience. And Mel is really creative in combination with the limited resources we all face today. And how can we come up with new solutions to make progress and show that we are able to become a personal bank in a digital age?
Next meeting.
Wow, that's a rather a long list, Mel.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So
yeah, we can't live without her. That's actually the short
summary. Yeah, if you look into the characteristics of Mel, and there are a lot of CIOs here in this room. So what kind of characteristic of Mel would you think would be a very good add-on to all the CIOs here in this room?
Yeah, I can't see them now and I don't know them, but I hope to see you all later this evening. But I think it's the combination of knowledge about IT and translating it really into a business added value towards the business, and support that everybody see how it connects together. And making the connection. I think connections, so not only being an expert is important, but it's also important to take leadership, to take ownership, and to work closely together with your stakeholders.
Okay, thanks. Thank you very much for this elaboration. Tonight will be, of course, the handover of the award to one of the nominees. Why do you think Mel is the preferred candidate?
Yeah, I think my summary says it all. Well, we can't live without Mel. Exactly. And actually, Mel has a saying, and that's happy clients and smiling faces, and that's Mel. She brings it all together, and she makes it work. That's for me key, and she's a very pleasant person to work with. Because you can have all the knowledge, you can be the best person, but if you can't connect with people, if you're not able to bring across the message and to give a view on what the added value is, you can be the best expert, but then the business will not proceed and go forward.
Exactly. Well, Joy, thank you very much for this outstanding review of Mel. I think 2022 will also be a good year for you, Mel. So thanks a lot, and see you tonight.
See you later.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
That takes us to the last nominee. André, up to you.
Thank you. Ah, 6 minutes. I will wait until I will just start. I'll just get more time. It's almost 3 years ago that I left the financial services industry and stepped into the fascinating world of flowers and plants. A sector I didn't know, and a company, Royal Flora Holland, I just got acquainted with. The floriculture sector is very important for the Dutch economy. It's the third exporting sector in terms of value. And it's a sector full of strong traditions and family-owned companies that last for generations. Royal Flora Holland, the auction, is a cooperative owned by growers of flowers and plants. And it services approximately 3,800 growers and their 2,400 buyers. And they have a huge diversity in terms of size and needs. What attracted me in joining Flora Holland was the ambition to transfer from a physical marketplace into a digital B2B platform that will allow the sector to retain its leading position in the world in a sustainable way. What will that transformation bring to the sector? It will provide growers with access to many more buyers, vice versa, and therefore increase business opportunities. And secondly, it will make the sector more efficient and sustainable. Transportation, for example, can be optimized by leveraging the data that will be available on our digital platform, FloriDay. To make this transformation happen, I have to show leadership in a number of areas. In 2020, we went full throttle with the implementation of FloriDay, and we got momentum. Early 2021, however, we got a lot of resistance, that our pace was too high and the change too radical. In response, I've initiated and organized workshops with growers, buyers, to understand where we had to improve and what was required for a successful adoption of FloriDay as a platform. Luckily, these workshops confirmed that we have a shared digital dream in the sector, but that our way of implementation needed to be enhanced and changed to suit everybody's needs. And also, it resulted in even more co-creation than we already did before. And it restored trust in the transformation. And today, already 35% of the volumes are handled through the platform, and I expect it will be 60% by the end of the year. In a digital world, the availability of IT services and the security of it is very important. And cybersecurity is a topic that's very close to my heart. And together with partners in the ecosystem, I have the ambition to structurally increase the cyber resilience of the entire sector and have launched a number of initiatives. Last but not least, you will not be able to achieve any results without strong business IT teams that have the focus on delivering business value and have the agility to change and respond to market developments. And I'm convinced that providing direction and freedom to the teams is the recipe to create great results. Last but not least, I'm now 3 years in my journey. I'm far from finished in terms of learning. But the main learning of the last 3 years is in the true spirit of the cooperative I work for. If you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. Thank you.
Thank you, André. Right back to you, Marcel, for the validation Q&A with Royal Flora Holland's CFO, Mr. David van Mechelen.
Welcome, David.
You, son. Thank you. Thank you.
That was a little bit awkward for the audience because you came walking in instead of appearing on the screen. So,
No,
hey,
I'm the real guy.
A real human, yeah, a real human. So, welcome, welcome. We just heard a great story, of course, of André. So if you look into Royal Flora Holland and you look into the last 2 years and look a little bit towards the future, what do you think are the biggest challenges around you?
Yeah, we're living in quite exciting phase of our transformation, and actually most challenges and the excitement is inflicted by ourselves once we decided to start really implementing our strategy. And this follows naturally from our position that we have in the sector. We are a central point, and there's many companies connected to us, both growers and buyers. And by implementing the B2B platform that André just described, at least 7,000 companies need to adapt when we adapt. And looking at the diversity of our customers, every decision that we take will always hurt some group of customers. So it really requires listening, stakeholder management, but also making firm decisions and be firm when implementing them. And this is all done in a very complex environment with high energy pricing, really affecting our growers. With globalization, it was already very international, but new global competitive models come up that we are faced with. More demand on sustainability, of course. And last but not least, our buyers, They buy every day smaller batches, smaller number of products. So our logistical model needs a complete overhaul and rethinking. So it's quite some dynamic.
Indeed, yeah, that's almost a complete market switch. And we had today one of the CIOs on stage, and he said IT can be difficult, but the really difficulty is into the changing of the environment. Do you recognize that?
Yeah, definitely, because we are dependent of our customers, and our customers are dependent of us. And it's not only growers and buyers, because there is many software suppliers dedicated, specialized for growers, but also specialized for buyers. There's many other platforms that want to connect and vice versa, and there's also many suppliers of other products that want to connect. So it's a whole ecosystem only at the IT side, not even looking at the business impact that it can have. So yeah, it's indeed, it's managing the environment is as difficult as managing our internal organization, yes.
Exactly, because you're moving a little bit from a physical marketplace to a digital platform, and maybe indeed to a hybrid situation, physical and digital. What do you think in that shift is the most difficult in business model thinking?
Well, it will really shift business models. Some business models of our customers are really based on a physical inspection, on physical buying, on physical transportation, and that cannot be replaced one-on-one by a digital solution. So we create also some existential questions for customers, but also for ourselves. And I think this is quite painful, apart from all the changes and adaptation that we require. And also because it is a very traditional sector, more than 100 years old, and it is all business to business, all family companies, so everybody knows each other. And in this thing, we try to, get everybody on board and keep everybody on board.
Yeah. Interesting. And if you think about that change, when do you involve tech in that change? What is the moment?
Well, our purpose is connect to grow. And this is who we were and who we are and will be. We connect our growers in the cooperative, but we also connect our growers with their buyers in our marketplaces. We will do it now in a digital way, and tech is at the heart of our strategy that follows from our purpose, building the B2B platform. So you can imagine it's not only the ecosystem that I just described, but also we ourselves need to become a digital company from the inside. And I think since Andre came in, many achievements have been reached. We moved to the cloud with SaaS solutions. We redefined our architecture based on the modular approach so that we are more speedy in developing in the future. We are now 3 years down the road for a complete overhaul of IT landscape. It costs a lot of money and a lot of effort, but the first results and benefits are finally showing, and it requires perseverance. But also we are working, the methods of working, we are working now more and more in tribe-based structures, agile more and more, and we also now decided to insource again our engineers and create a new engineering culture. So on many aspects.
So almost 1 minute. We have planned this event especially after the salary reviews, so you can go ahead. What are the biggest achievements of Mark, and why do you want to have him within your company?
Well, it's first of all because of his skills and his personality.
Andre,
yeah. He is a true professional. He knows his profession, and he's very eager and keen to keep track on all latest developments and apply them in his own job. And he will never forget, and this is also very comforting for me and myself, the basics right first. So IT continuity, maybe the not sexy things, but IT continuity, cyber resilience, compliance, data governance, etc. But having done that, then he will quickly step to what he really loves, and that is developing value for the customer and make customers smile. This only for the internal business managers, but especially for growers and buyers. So you will find him more outside of our company than inside, because he really likes to talk with our customers ourselves.
Okay, David, thank you very much for this last minute. Andre, I think you will have also a very good 2022. And don't forget these words, but they are recorded, so take it with you. So thank you, David, very much for your appearing on stage. Thanks a lot.
Nee, wacht maar.
Our heroes.
So,
sorry, you were wrapping up, right?
I was wrapping up. I'm trying. No, but it will be a short, fair wrap up. It was great to hear all these business transformation stories. I heard a lot about people, HR, finance, digital transition, customer journeys, customer experience. I think that's what all these nominees are standing for, and also a real big hand for them and for their companies which we're all here today. So thanks a lot.